In this exercise, we have a variable named words that contains multiple words. The first one says, write a function named findLongestWord that takes an array of words and returns the longest word from the array. So to return, what we'll do is we'll create a new array by saying words and then sort it with the length of word. So we'll pass a compare function a comma b, and here we'll say a dot length minus b dot length. So by doing this words array will be sorted in terms of length, and the maximum will be the first one, and here we'll say dot pop. So instead of words we'll say array, and we'll call that function here. To test it, we'll call it here, refresh it and call it, and we'll see the largest one is crocodile. What if we add a new one that is really long and run this code again, and we can see this function works properly for us. Convert the above array words into an array of length of words instead of words. So we'll say let words length is equal to words.map, and here we'll say one word, and we just need to return word.length. If we refresh it and say words length, this is out. Create a new array that only contains word with at least one vowel. So here we are going to use filter, and to check if it is vowel or not, we'll create a function like here. We'll say it will contain a word, and we'll check if that word has vowel or not. And it means we'll have to write for A, E, I, O, U. And here we'll use the function check vowel and send the word W. If we refresh and we check for vowel words, we'll see the length is same as this, 3, 6, 8. So one of the word doesn't contain any vowel. Find the index of word rhythm. So here we'll say words dot find index. It accepts a callback function, gives us word, and we'll check W is equal to rhythm or not. If that is the case, it will return the index of the value. Here we can see the index is 7. Create a new array that contains word not starting with vowel. So we'll say let not with, and here we'll use a very similar thing, but the only thing we need to understand is contains not starting with vowel. So we need to see if it is starting with vowel or not. So we don't have to send the whole word, and in that way it will just give us, and it is not with vowel. So here we'll say not, refresh it, and here not with vowel. There are 6 that doesn't start with vowel. Create a new array that contains word not ending with vowel. So similarly here we'll do the same thing, not ending with vowel. Instead of passing the first word, we'll say w dot length minus 1. If we run this and check for not ending with vowel, here only one of the value ends with vowel. Create a sum array function that takes an array of number as parameter and calculates the sum of all of its number. So we'll create a function. It will take an array and will return sum of it. So we'll say array dot reduce. Reduce accepts two things, callback function and the initial value, that is 0, because we have to count the sum. So here the callback function gets access to accumulator and current value, and here the first thing we need to do is to return accumulator, and here we'll say accumulator is equal to accumulator plus CV. If we call the function sumArray with numbers, it will work for us. Make a new array that contains number multiplied by 3, like 6, 18, 27. So we'll create a new array. For this we have to use filter. So we'll say let multiply by 3 is equal to numbers.filter will get a number and return only true for num modulus 3 is equal to 0. It contains only even numbers. So here we'll say even modulus 2 is equal to 0. Odd number, so here we'll say odd and we'll change it to not. Create a new array that should have true for even number and false for odd number. So we'll say let odd or even is equal to numbers. Here we will be using map is because the size of output is same as input. The only thing we need to do is we'll get number and we'll pass it to any of these two functions, and whenever it is true, here we need to return whether num modulus 2 is equal to 0 or not. So it will return true for even numbers and false for odd numbers. If you want to check, you can say odd or even, true false, true false. Sort the above number in ascending order. So we'll say sorted number is equal to, we can directly mutate the array by saying numbers dot sort. When you are sorting a number, you need to pass a compare function that is a and b, and we need to return a minus b. You can do the same thing, but here we are mutating the array. If you don't want to mutate the array, you can create a clone of the array by doing this. So this approach is always better than the older one. Does sort mutate the original array? That is exactly what we are coming to. So we'll leave it to this one. Does sort mutate the original array? Yes, it does. We'll comment it out. Find the sum of numbers in the array. So we'll do the similar thing. We'll say sum is equal to numbers. Here the input is an array and output is going to be a number. So we will be using reduce. Reduce accepts two things: callback function initial value. Initial value will be 0. Callback function will get access to accumulator and current value. And here the first thing we need to do is to return accumulator, and to find the sum we'll say accumulator is equal to accumulator plus sum. Write a function average numbers that receives an array of numbers and calculates the average of numbers. So we'll create a function with the value average number array, and the average will be, first we'll create sum, so we'll say array.reduce, and then we just need to divide this with array.length. We can save it in average or we can directly return this. Write a function average word length that receives an array of words 2 and calculate the average length of the word. So we'll create a function and it will return words, and here first we'll do is we'll say words length is equal to words dot map. We'll take a word and return word dot length. Now once we get that, we can just reduce it by using reduce. Initial value 0, will pass accumulator and current value, and here we just need to say return accumulator plus current value. And now this is total length, and we will divide this with words.length, that will be average, so we can directly return it from here. Refresh it. It's saying cannot access sum before initialization. Sorry, the problem here was we should be using CV instead of sum. Now if you want to access the value this, we'll call this function with words, and the average is 7. What if I just call the same function, but this time I'll be sending strings. It is 5.3. So in this way we have completed this exercise.